Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we're joined on Zoom by Heather Hurd from Blue Cross Blue Shield in Massachusetts to talk about Medicare today. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So we'll start off with the open enrollment, or the annual, enrollment period for Medicare is coming up. What is that?
Yes, thank you, Danny. Every year, Medicare has an annual election period, which we call open enrollment. It's from October 15th to December 7th each year for a January 1 effective date. So this affects people who are on Medicare now, and they may have purchased other private Medicare plans. During this time frame, open enrollment, October 15th to December 7th, they can change their plan if they want to. It'll take effect on January 1st.
Great. And do you have to enroll in Medicare, like once you hit a certain age or a certain point?
Well, that's a great question. Medicare is health insurance for people age 65 and older, and it's also available to people who have been covered for disability for 2 years. So those are the two people on Medicare. They've been on disability coverage for 2 years and they may be younger, or they've turned age 65. Now, if you turn age 65, you're Medicare eligible, but you may delay going on to Medicare if you're working. If you continue working and you have an active employer plan, and that company has 20 employees or more, you can delay going on to Medicare. But if you are not working when you turn 65, you should enroll onto Medicare because there are late enrollment penalties if you don't sign up for Medicare at that time. So Medicare is federal coverage, and it covers people all over the United States.
Oh, wow. So what kind of things does Medicare typically cover, like specific coverage?
So original Medicare is made of parts A and B. And Medicare Part A covers inpatient services, so you can think of hospital room and board, skilled nursing coverage. It's premium free for most people. Medicare Part B covers outpatient services and doctor care. So when people go to the doctor's office, have a specialist visit, maybe some physical therapy, these services are covered under Medicare Part B. So A is inpatient, B is outpatient and doctor care, and Medicare Part B is not free. Everyone pays an individual premium to have Medicare Part B, and that is set by the federal government, and it can change every year. Currently, Medicare's Part B premium is $164.90 per person per month. So that's in 2023. We don't know the 2024 premium yet. Medicare usually announces its changes for the upcoming year sometime in the fall, so usually sometime in late October, early November. How do people pay that Part B premium? Well, it can be deducted from a Social Security check, or Medicare will bill them if they're not collecting Social Security.
Okay, so there's different options for people depending on what coverage they think they're going to need.
Do you mean options in addition to Medicare?
No, I mean like within Medicare itself. You don't have to get Part B if you don't think you'll need it, or?
Well, you don't have to take Part B. You're right. It is optional, but most people enroll onto Part B because if you do not, you don't have any coverage for any outpatient or doctor care. So anything that you do when you go to an office visit or a specialist visit, if you need a lab, a blood draw, an x-ray, none of these services are covered if you don't have Medicare Part B. Also, if you don't sign up on Part B when you're first eligible and you don't have an employer plan, later on, if you go to sign up on Part B, you'll have to wait for an open enrollment period, and you'll have a late enrollment penalty, which is 10% for every 12 months that you delay. So for the penalty reason and the no coverage reason, most people take Part B, even though they have to pay that monthly premium for it.
No, yeah, definitely. That would be a good idea. And during the annual enrollment, is this the only time people can enroll or change their plans, or could they do it at some other point in the year?
Yes. So this time period coming up, this open enrollment period, is for people currently on Medicare who want to perhaps change their other plans, which we haven't talked about yet, the other types of plans. But the first time you go onto Medicare, that can happen any time of the year. People are turning 65 all the time. And that is called your initial election period. And it begins 3 months before your birthday month. And it lasts for 3 months after your birthday month. And at this time, when people are first eligible for Medicare, they can sign up for Medicare, and they do so by contacting Social Security. So you go to the Social Security Administration the first time you're eligible for Medicare to enroll onto Medicare. And then if you want to buy the other private plans to give you more coverage than Medicare, there are different types of plans. There are supplements there are Medicare Advantage plans. There are Part D drug plans. People buy these from private insurance companies. So enrolling onto Medicare can happen anytime. That's the initial election period. And then once you're on Medicare, you have that annual election period every fall, October 15th to December 7th, where you can make a change to your other coverage if you want to. And then there are special circumstances. There are special enrollments people fall into, such as maybe they've worked beyond age 65. Maybe they work till 70 and now they're letting go of an employer plan. That creates a special enrollment to sign up on Medicare. Moving into a new service area or a different part of the country, that could create a special enrollment.
Interesting. And you said this is a time when they can change their other plans. Are those the ones that you were referencing before, like the additional things you can buy from private insurance?
Yes, so many people go on to Medicare and they just decide to have the federal Medicare coverage, but it's not 100% coverage. There are out-of-pocket costs, and Medicare does not cover outpatient prescriptions. These are medications that we pick up at the pharmacy. Medicare does not cover a lot of preventive services, such as routine eye exams, routine hearing exams. So many people, and there's also out of pocket costs in the form of deductibles and um, generally speaking, for your outpatient services, after you meet a deductible, you pay 20% for the rest of the year. So when people don't want to pay those amounts, they look to buying other coverage. They can buy either Medicare supplements. These are plans they add on to Medicare to pick up after Medicare and fill in those gaps and pay Medicare balances, or they can buy Medicare Advantage plans. These are also very popular. And Advantage plans take over, these are sometimes called Part C of Medicare. They take over and they replace Medicare while you're on that plan. And you get a lot of extra benefits, preventive services, drug coverage, all on one card. Now, when people buy a supplement, they have very predictable out-of-pocket costs. But they don't have drug coverage, so they still need to buy a Medicare Part D drug plan, and they could buy that from an insurance company. So these other plans, supplements, Advantage plans, Part D, people are buying these from insurance companies that are contracted with Medicare.
Yeah, that whole process makes sense. And is there anything that's new to the plans this year that you wanted to talk about at all?
New to plans in general, I guess I would say if you're on a Medicare plan, you will be getting a notice in the mail now called an annual notice of change. It's a member letter saying, "Dear member, here's how your plan is changing." Definitely read that and open it up and see if the changes to your plan are okay for you. You may be getting new benefits. I know plans are really trying to reduce premium, add in a lot of extra benefits. So you want to read up on those changes. There can also be changes to the drug coverage. If you have Part D benefits, there can be formulary changes. So you want to know if that's going to affect you. If you're okay with the changes, your plan can roll over till the next year, 2024. If you're not okay with the plan changes, you can call your company and talk to them about these changes so you understand them. All the companies now in the fall will be having seminars, Zoom webinars. We'll be explaining our plans. You can also call member service. And if you don't like the plan changes, you have October 15th to December 7th to make a change for January 1.
Great. And what would be advice you would give to someone who's, facing these decisions to maybe make a change?
Well, I'll make this a two-part answer. If you're not yet on Medicare and you're new to Medicare and you're planning to go onto Medicare, my advice would be start early. Don't wait until a month before your 65th birthday to figure all this out because it can be complicated. I would say a good time frame is 6 months to a year before you're going on to Medicare. Start reading a little bit about Medicare online, going to some informational sessions, maybe at your senior center or offered by an insurance company, so you're well versed in what the options are when it's time for you to make decisions. If you're already on Medicare, the advice I would be is read that annual notice of change and then look and see what the other plans are offering. This information would be on the back of in the back of your Medicare hand booklet that you will be sent from Medicare. Every year they send those out in September. I know people are getting them now. So look at the different plans and see what's available to you besides the plan that you have. Attend an informational session if you have time or a Zoom webinar. And at your senior center, there's a valuable resource there called Shine. So there are Shine counselors all throughout Massachusetts. The Shine program is an amazing program. Shine counselors are free counselors who will sit down with people on Medicare one-on-one and discuss their health insurance options and whether they should make a change or stay with the plan that they have.
Wow, that's great. So you've provided so much good information for us today, and we have to wrap up, but thank you for coming on again to really give us all this information about Medicare.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. And for the residents of Lynn, you have a wonderful senior center on Silby Street. And if you're interested in Blue Cross plans, we have information. I know our plan information is at bluecrossma.com/Medicare, or you can call our sales team at 1-800-678-2265. We also have seminars this fall at the Peabody Marriott on Centennial Drive on October 25th, November 21st, and November 27th, if anybody's interested in joining our meetings. Thank you.
Great, thank you for this plethora of information. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.